Yo, what up, Toshi here. So we're finally making Wuthering Ways videos. I have been waiting about a week from launch just to go ahead and start making videos, only because I want to get a better idea of the game and how it works and how I actually play the game and stuff like that, and figure out what is my favorite characters to play the game. And of course, we'll cover all of the characters coming into the future, so look forward to that on this channel. Now, in today's video, I want to talk about the 4-star characters in this game. They've been a lot of fun, especially particularly danjin. To me, I understand a lot of people have been using Sanhua, who is also a very nice and rewarding mechanically driven character. Danjin has been that same case for me, another mechanically driven character, and they're not even 5 stars. They're not even 5 stars, but they feel like 5 stars. I almost said 4 stars. They are 4 stars, but they feel like 5 stars. We could take the kit of danjin and apply it to a 5-star character, and the character would feel like a 5-star character. That's how special her kit is. She reminds me a lot of Blade from Honkai Star Rail. You siphon your HP, you deal damage. The lower HP you are, the more damage you deal. Once you have your forte circuit maxed out, then you use your heavy attack. You're going to then heal yourself and deal a ton of damage. It's a very reward-driven character, mechanically driven, hard to play character. And there's a lot of times where I am using danjin and I am suffering because, for one, when you are using danjin into AoE, like AoE fights, so you're using her into multiple enemies, you not only have to dodge 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5 attacks from 5 different opponents hitting you all at once. It's very hard to do that. So even trying to pull it off with danjin is a task in itself. What she does offer in compared to 5 stars is easy accessibility, easier, and she also has a nice mechanically driven kit, whereas all the other characters in the game for the most part are a lot more safer and easier to use. Some of those being the exceptions, such as Encore with her mechanics and her animation cancels. Now take it from me, I almost have every character in the game. Right now I'm working on getting Danjin from my selector banner, and once I do have her, then I'll be only missing Ling Yang to complete my roster of characters in this game. And from me having pretty much most of the characters, I could say for certain, the only ones that have been a lot of fun to use have been the 4 stars. Now I do understand that it comes with having the character built and using them, and even to the late game, maybe that will change because maybe danjin isn't the best character in the game. That's a-okay, because at the very least she does offer something that is different from the other cast of characters, which again is what games like this are all about, is having all these different characters, have all of these different options, all that feel different from one another. It is what makes the end game fun, right? Once I do hit the end game, then I'm going to have different characters with different teams I can use, and danjin is going to be one of those characters in the teams I do use. Now, Jian is a very strong character. The strongest character in the game right now, aside from Encore, I'm seeing is making a lot of noise with how strong she has been for a lot of players into the late game, right? The mid to late game. When played optimally, of course, right? Jian has just been a very easy to use, very nice and strong character. The best character for AoE right now. His AoE is insane, but he's very ult dependent. If you don't have his ultimate, you're not getting that AoE you really need. And then he feels like a character that's just not really doing enough. But once you have your ultimate, it changes everything with the character. Danjin is a character that is not very ult dependent. You're just looking to use your basics and your resonance skill to stack up your forte circuit. Once you have it maxed out, then you use it, and then all of a sudden you siphon, right, HP back, and then you deal a ton of damage. Whereas Jian's game plan is just to deal damage until you get your ultimate. And then once you get your ultimate, then you just start doing more damage, right? Pretty much. But maybe you haven't been sleeping on the 4 stars, and maybe there are some 4 stars in the game you currently already use on your roster, such as Mortefi. I've been seeing a lot of Mortefi in Jian teams, and only because of his synergy with other characters and how well he works as a sub DPS of sorts. He is a very solid character overall. I just haven't got around to building him myself, but believe me, I've been hearing everyone say he's just been amazing to use. The best gun character in the game right now. And as I said earlier, Sanhua is a character that has a very nice game plan. It reminds me of those games you play at the arcade, and your goal with that game, or your game plan with that arcade game, is to essentially hit the button at the right specific time, and then once you hit the button at the right specific time, you get the jackpot, right? That, while trying to dodge and deal damage, is very hard in itself, but it is very satisfying if you can pull it off. That's part of the reason why a lot of people do like Sanhua. But real talk, some of these characters like danjin are very mechanically driven characters, right? Very hard to play. So what's the point of playing this character if you're someone who is not familiar with action RPGs or hack and slash combat? And you're someone that doesn't really have the quickest reaction times, so dodging attacks is very difficult for you. Well, there is options in the game to help alleviate some of those issues. Verena is a character that I've been using alongside danjin, and when I'm not dodging Verena's doing the dodge and format, I could say she's healing me, right? She's giving me a ton of healing. She's even boosting my attack and giving me damage, which makes my danjin hit even harder. So Verena is a very nice safety net to have for a character like danjin. And to be honest, once you do reach that certain level with Verena, she gives you something that is going to make the synergy with danjin incomprehensible. Right here, being able to have Verena protect you from literally dying when giving you a shield, right, before you do die is very nice. It reminds me a lot of Bailu's revive from Honkai Star Rail. The difference is that you're not necessarily dying, you're just getting that shield. And that shield lasts for 10 seconds, which means that can be enough to help you win the fight, right, if you are tackling some of the end-game contents. So a character like Verena has nice synergy with characters that are not only harder to use, but characters that may end up killing themselves in the process. So if you are a danjin enjoyer or you're someone who's looking to get into danjin, don't let danjin's mechanically, driven gameplay be something that deters you from playing the character, because we have options in the game to help alleviate some of that stress that does come with playing danjin. And so I can understand what you might be also saying right now. Well, we don't really have any other characters to use alongside danjin other than Verena. So what's the point of even playing this character when I could just use the Calcharo and soon to be Calcharo Yinlin team that comes out upon Yinlin's banner? And that team is going to not only put out more damage, but it may end up being a team that just feels more fun to play. Well, fun is very subjective, right? Fun is what you see as being fun. For me, this is very fun. Having a character that is, obviously Verena is not very mechanically demanding, having a character be very mechanically demanding like danjin, and despite me having nearly every 5-star in the game, the 4-stars for me have been the most enjoyable characters. And that may not be the case for you, and that's a-okay. You should play with what you want to play at the end of the day, because your way of playing the game is going to be a lot different than my way of playing the game, because what I find fun is not going to be fun for you, right? But I want to make this video just going over the 4-stars like danjin, for instance, and once I do tackle more into the end game, I'll probably make a guide on the character perhaps, right? But overall, I've been enjoying my time in Wuthering Waves. I know I haven't been making videos. I've just been playing, grinding. Also, as you know, I make videos on Star and stuff like that, so I've been occupied on that channel, but I will be making more videos going forward to the future. We'll cover all the characters, stuff like that. I do want to do an in-depth account review, right, within the next few videos, so look forward to that. Thank you for watching, and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.